Oh, good evening, everyone, and welcome again to my YouTube channel. We're going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. I have lived and worked in Chicago area my entire life, so I believe that I have a right to an opinion on what I'm discussing here. I am sick and tired of all these land developers and their mercenary architects. I could use stronger words to describe such people, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Um, I'm tired of them destroying our heritage to make a quick buck, to save money, or to serve their own purposes. And when they knock down something of beauty, just a little bit of our history, a little bit of our heritage, a little bit of my heritage, they replace it with something very ugly most of the time. Um, there's a lot of things that over the last, I would say 50 years, have been put up that just don't belong in the city, that just are absolute eyesore. One thing that I will talk about is the Willis Tower, which was previously known as the Sears Tower. Many people still call it that. People have memories attached to it. Look, it's the tallest building. I get it. I've been up to the top, but the design is horrible. Whoever designed it, they're probably not alive anymore, but whoever designed it really should be arrested. It's just horrible. It's asymmetric. It's an asymmetrical monstrosity. Looks like something built with Lego blocks by kids. Let's not put anything up that's like that. It's just awful looking. Now let me show you some other things. Now we're going to talk about things that have been destroyed and able to make room for ugly things, or just destroyed because they could not be afforded to be kept. I'm going to start with this beautiful church here. Let's see if I could get this on camera. Yeah, that's it right there. This is known as, or was known as St. Clement's. It's a church which once stood on the south side. And it was in the neighborhood of Garfield Park. Garfield Park is a neighborhood with beautiful buildings, but it's kind of seen better days as far as a neighborhood. I'm not going to get terribly into what's going on there, but it's not what it used to be. Anyway, this building is a copy of the Hagia Sophia of which was built in Constantinople during the Byzantine Empire. I believe it was in the 5th century. It was the Emperor Justinian commissioned its building. Thales of Miletus was the architect who built it. Anyway, this building, St. Clement's, was demolished by the Archdiocese of Chicago. Ordered it's sold or got rid of because they could not maintain it. My guess is they probably just didn't get enough parishioners, largely due to the change in the demographics of the neighborhood. There were not enough people going to the church, they were not getting their money, and it was no longer serving much of a purpose, so off it went. It could have been, in my opinion, it could have been preserved by the city, maybe as a museum or something else, but it just didn't serve a purpose, so it was demolished. I'm going to show you another building that served its purpose and no longer exists as a result. And this is one that's very near to my heart because it is a beautiful old Gothic structure. This is the seminary building at the Seminary of St. Joseph, a Franciscan seminary, which existed in the suburb of Westmont. It's like between Westmont and Oak Brook in that area. This is a place that is not far from where I grew up. I remember this Gothic edifice very well. It, in some ways, it kind of scared me. It looked like something old and haunted, but it was, it just certainly had a sense of place. And at the time it existed, it was kind of surrounded by woods, and it was kind of built in the outer suburbs, away from where were a lot of other places, that existed on other suburbs. Um, it was kind of a victim, I would say, of the affluence of its surrounding area. Oak Brook uh, became prime real estate. The building was sold by the Franciscan order to a real estate developer, and it was turned into a condo unit. Now the condos, I would guess they didn't sell. It's even though it's a beautiful building, it's not. I'm not sure if it's this type of place that would be fit for actual condominiums. I believe they called it Trinity something, Trinity Manor, Trinity Estate, something with the name Trinity in it, and that later ceased to exist and was and it was they couldn't make money off of it, so they destroyed it. And currently, right now, where it sits, there are just a lot of houses, like $1 million houses, just really expensive, outrageously priced units. And I guess they could make more money doing it that way, which is shameful. I mean, it's a landmark. There's no reason it should have been destroyed. They could have found some other purpose for it. I don't know, but just destroying something is not the way to you want to do something. I'm going to show you another picture. Now, this is something really dear to my heart. In kids growing up where I live, were probably people who were children at that time will probably remember this place. See if you're from my area, see if you could remember this. This is Despence's Castle of Toys. Um, it was actually a toy store, but it was an amazing toy store because on the outside it was patterned after a castle. This was before Toys R Us or any these other toy stores came into existence. I believe Toys R Us back in those days was called. The name given to that was Bargain Town, but this was kind of a local business, and it was a fun place. It attracted people from throughout the Chicago area. There was also an amusement park that developed outside of the building called Kitty Kingdom. It was not a huge place, but for kids, it was it was a lot of fun. Um, now, again, this was a victim of just extreme greed, and I'll explain why. It was sold to another real estate developer who had no use for castles. There was just no reason why to keep up its existence. So it was destroyed, demolished, if you will. And what exists in its place? Well, I'll tell you what exists. A 30-story glass and steel office building, which it looks like absolute hell. Um, it's it's a tall building visible from the rest of the suburbs. Big deal. I mean, anyone could build a tall building, but to build something like this, that takes ingenuity. That takes imagination. And when this was destroyed, it just kind of like made me lose faith in this whole idea of land development. I don't think any person, I can't see how anyone who is trained to appreciate architecture, like most architects who go to school are, how they could just have such a cavalier attitude. I guess it's all about the money. I know, it's all about dollars and cents. You can't make money on a castle. You might be able to repurpose it. I think that, which is what I think should have been done, maybe turn it into another kind of store. But to just destroy it and make money off of it, there's something very sinister, ungodly about that. Um, it's, and I want to add something else. Since we're looking at these pictures, just what exactly is being built in place of these? Well, I could show you a lot of pictures, but I'll show you a picture of something that was built fairly recently. Many people remember this. This was within the last 20, I think it was right around the time of 2000 that this was built. This was in what is now Millennium Park. It used to be North Garfield Park. They call this the Bean. Its real name is Cloud Gate. Tourists like to come to it, and I think that this is an absolute abomination. It is a monstrosity. And why someone would put this pile of garbage right in the middle of Grant Park, I don't know. They could put so many better looking things than this. This is just this is just trash. This is garbage. And whoever designed it, I don't know who designed it. This is some artist who thought he was smarter than the rest of us and thought that he could put his own stamp his own ego on the city. And a bunch of and like a bunch of fools, they approved this to be put there. Um, and I just think it has no place in my city, not in Chicago. And that's and you may disagree with me, but that's my opinion. And I gotta say something else about this whole buying and selling of property, destroying things to make space for things that don't belong in the city, that are just plain ugly. My, I can only answer this. In a place like Rome, in a place like Paris, in a lot of these well-preserved cities of Europe and also of Asia, maybe a lot of Latin American places, you can't get away with this stuff. Do you think that if you want to put a Sears Tower, a Willis Tower in the middle of Rome next to the Colosseum, do you think that the Italian government or the Roman municipal government will allow this, that they will give you permits? No, they wouldn't want that there. Why should we have it here in our city? We have such amazing architectural heritage. Why can't we just save it? Look at the wall, all along Michigan Avenue, all those beautiful neoclassical edifices that exist there, all those Gothic edifices. Um, I don't want to see those torn down. I want those to exist as they are. I want, if they need to be repurposed or remodeled, then so be it. But don't tear them down. Don't destroy my city. Destroy your own city. Hell, most of these people who design this stuff don't even live here. Um, they just think that they could put anything they want. It's sort of like uh, people like a lot of these, if you want to put some of these buildings up, put them in the suburbs. I mean, where they will hardly be noticed. Don't put it in the loop. Don't put it in historical neighborhoods like Hyde Park or any place where it just doesn't belong. That's my answer. That's what I believe. So instead of putting ugly garbage in your own in my own public parks in my city, put it in your own front yard. Would you like it if I came to your place without even telling you, without getting your approval, and just dumped a bunch of garbage in your front yard and said, hey, this is art. You have to keep it there? No, you wouldn't like that. Why do you think I or anyone else in the city wants to see this trash that you think that we need to see? Keep it in front of your own house. Well, that's my rant for right now. And I thank you for listening and bearing with me. And until next time, namaste.